6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, y'all. Can you hear me? All right, I'm seeing people on the call. This is amazing. Super excited to be here on the Morning Mindset Show for Brock here today. My name is Chris Reshetar, and I am one of his trusted partners in crime. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All good, right? We hope so. We hope so. So I see we have people popping on as we speak. Looks like we got about 8 or 12 people on here. All right. I'm seeing good mornings coming. Give me a thumbs up or good morning if you can hear me all right. Perfect. Thank you so much. We are doing the Morning Mindset Show here for Brock. Oh, there's Brock. I was going to say Brock's out of town, taking a hiatus. He's probably at the beach. Maybe not so. There he is, though. He's decided to show up. He's decided to show up. Good to see you there. Are you at the airport? Yep, I figured so. Looks like he's at the airport. That's right. We're getting a thumbs up. So awesome. So I think he's, I can't remember, you down in Nashville? Is that where you're hanging out? Yep, down in Nashville. Probably getting us all set up for our January event is my guess. Getting things primed, right? Getting the setting lined up, making sure we're going to have a great experience. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end of our show today. So excited about that. So first of all, welcome to the Morning Mindset Show. Looks like we got people in. I am here to fuel your day with clarity, connection, and mindset that leads you with purpose, right? That's what we're here to do. So I decided to highlight an oldie but a goodie today. I like to highlight a book when I'm on the show. I think it's just a great way to connect to the things that we probably should be doing, things we forgot to do, things that we haven't done, whatever that might look like for you. So we're going to talk about Stephen R. Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But before we do that, I know everybody likes to do the morning affirmation. So I think the routine is something like this. We come off of mute, right? We come off mute and let me know what, let's jump in and let's do this together. The something good is gonna, you've heard this before, right? So I'm gonna count to 3 and we're gonna read our morning affirmation. I think this is always a great reminder. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Something good is going to happen to me. Something good is going to happen through me, right? Thank you so much for jumping in there and sharing that with me. And I think that affirmation has always made me think, like, you know, what if I am not manifesting that something good is going to happen through me, right? I hope that something good is going to happen to me. It's more important to me, right? That something good is going to happen through me, that I'm going to impact somebody's world, that I get out of a lunch appointment with a realtor, I've got a to-go box, and I don't think it's a mistake that I run into a homeless person on the way to my car and I say, here's a meal for you, right? I want something good to happen through me. I want to take a client of mine who didn't think they could buy a house, right? Was maybe told no somewhere else, that I can say, you know what, I think we can make this happen. We might not be easy, but I want something good to happen through me. So always appreciate the morning mindset there, that affirmation that we share each and every time we're on this call. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Chris Reshetar. I am a mortgage broker. I'm also bishop of my church. Happy father of 3, married for 31 years, going on 32 years here next month. Excited about that. And used to have a radio show in Charlotte, did a radio show for about 5 years on ESPN 730, an AM station here in the Charlotte area. So anytime I have a chance to fill in for Brock, it's an honor. Don't know that I can necessarily hold a candle to Brock, but I make every effort to at least check the box for you, Brock, right? So, all right. Well, I know he likes to get you involved in terms of making sure y'all are putting thumbs up or 5s in chats and all that jazz. So I'll have a chance to do that as we move through the show today. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Stephen R. Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. When I started in the mortgage business, I was, what do they call that? Moonlighting, right? I had 2 jobs. I was a high school counselor for Charlotte Mecklenburg schools at West Charlotte High School. Brock and I both worked for CMS. He worked at West Mech. I worked at West Charlotte. We started in education, and eventually we transitioned over. But you can't leave the industry without doing a little bit of work for two jobs. And becoming a highly effective loan officer wasn't on my mind. It was, how do I just transition from one career to the next? And my day came at me. I had no patterns of success. I just woke up, got my clothes on, went to work, worked one job, then went to the next job, and then just kind of did it the next day. I was not a highly effective person. I'd like to think I am a pretty decent effective person right now, but I still have a lot to learn, So we're going to talk about the habits. It's not just about productivity, but it's about kind of leaving a legacy, because who sees you as an effective person in your life? Let's put some ideas in the chat there. Who sees your effectiveness in your life? Let me get some of the comments here. Let's see. Grandchildren, love that, right? Your family, your friends, of course, people in your circle of influence, right? How about our clients, right? It shows up in our in-laws. I like that one. I like that one. So, right. So that's part of the legacy. The more effective you can be as a person, the bigger your legacy is going to be. And I've had a great blessing of my three sons. We did a gratitude sharing session on Father's Day, and all three of my sons made a comment that they have noticed my discipline. And I wasn't always that way. So even the later years of my life with my family, my effectiveness is making an impact, not just on my productivity, but my legacy. So let's take a quick breath, get your coffee, and let's explore some of these principles that can kind of shape your mindset and your mission. So, what kind of energy are you bringing today, and who will it impact, right? So, what are you going to do to impact the people in your life today? So, let's go into habit number one. Some of you may be familiar with these, but it's be proactive. So, we'll talk a little bit about how that shows up. How that shows up in your life. So life doesn't always cooperate, right? It's more about how you respond to what comes at you. That is your power, right? I love the quote that nobody can make you angry. It's a choice, right? We see the world around us and the craziness that's happening. Not very exciting to see what's happening in the world around us, but that is true. So, in the example of a realtor that I recently had a conversation with, she said, my pipeline is dried up. I don't have any buyers and I need to pay my bills, right? And I said, well, what are you doing to generate more business, right? What are you doing to be proactive? I said, have you done a client appreciation event? Are you asking your old clients for referrals? Can we talk about some effective ways to ask for referrals? So I took a little mini coaching session, and had some of that with her in terms of how to be more proactive. And she's out there now planning a client appreciation event, inviting people out to get in front of those clients. And we gave her some strategies on how to ask for that business. And we're going to do a show on how to ask for business most effectively, but we're not going to do that today. So habit number one from Stephen Covey is being proactive. So where are you waiting for permission to lead in your life? What's one proactive step you can maybe take today if your business is not where it needs to be? Brock talks about this all the time, right? He's a business coach, and I'd like to say being proactive. If you haven't already, you go to Brock's website, and you know what it says right on the home screen? Click this box or fill in these 3 or 4 boxes, if you will, to sign up for a free coaching session. Maybe you get in front of Brock. He coaches us on the calls, right? And he invites you to his events. But is he coaching you personally? That might be your habit number one in terms of being proactive today. Okay, so habit number one, check that box. Habit number two, let's begin with the end in mind, right? So how often are we just letting our day take us over, take control, and not going into the day with, here are my 3 objectives for the day. What is your vision? It may be your daily vision, maybe your monthly vision in terms of units you want to close, how many clients you want to sign up for your exercise class, whatever business you're in, right? Or what that looks like for the whole year. So you want to figure out what that looks like for you so you can become who you want to be. So I've worked as a mortgage broker, right, for 25 years. And I still feel like I'm figuring out who I want to be when I grow up, right? Our company recently, after 3 years of being business, came up with our mission statements, our core values, and our slogan. Right now, our slogan is from broker to richer, right? I just figured that out at 53 years old. I'm 54 now. I figured that when I was 53, right? So I still feel like I am learning how to think about beginning with the end in mind. What do I want my clients to experience? What do I want my realtors to experience? I want them to help, I want to create wealth through real estate finance, just like realtors can help people create wealth through real estate purchase, right? Or sale. So lots of different ways to think about the end first, right? So in your life, if your life were a story, what would be the final chapter and what would it say about how you showed up, right? Where did you make that impact? What do you want that end goal to look like? And we've got to put that in the front of your mindset each day, each month, each year, so that when you get to the end, you can say, I've checked that box. I've checked that box. All right. So let's hear one goal for the day in terms of what you're going to try to focus on today. You may already have this lined up before you get to your day where you've thought about beginning with the end in mind. Put something in the chat, y'all. Put something in the chat. What's one goal you want to accomplish today? Is it 2 hours of outbound marketing phone calls? Is it following up with clients? Is it signing up somebody new for your business or your system? What's one chat or what's one item in the chat you're going to do in terms of beginning with the end in mind that's going to back to your goals to gain more time for other things? Thanks, Diane. Following up with listing appointments. Order new door hangers. There we go, Amanda. I love it, right? Speak to 10 agents, Mario. Love that. Getting coffee appointments, etc. Very good. All right. So we talked about habit 1, be proactive. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. Stephen R. Covey says habit 3 should be put first things first. Urgent doesn't always mean important. And this kind of ties to what we just talked about, right? Beginning with the end in mind, okay? So one thing that you need to do, it might be time blocking. And this is what I think is valuable. I'm going to kind of focus on that as habit number 3. Oftentimes, we can't begin with the end in mind if we haven't organized our day. We haven't time blocked. We haven't journaled. If we haven't habit tracked, right? I can't speak to all of you, but I have a 2-hour morning routine before I ever make a phone call or a text, right? Before I ever get to my email. It's 2 hours, right, of putting the things first that I need to put first. So for me, it's time with the Bible. It's prayer time. I have a habit tracker. If you've worked with me before, you know I change my voicemail every day. People are like, how do you do that? Well, I have a habit tracker and it says right on there, change voicemail, right? Work out, study scriptures, prayer. So I have about 10 things that I track each and every day, right? So habit 3 is put first things first. So are your daily actions aligned with your deepest values? So are you setting that time, right? Because otherwise, your emergencies will trump your day and you will not do the things that you want to do because you didn't put those things first or put first things first. So I think we've heard that on the Mindset show many times, right? How are you controlling your day? What are your habits? Are you putting God first in your life? Are you doing the things that you need to center, meditate, prayer, forgiveness, journal, whatever that might look like in your life? All right. Hopefully some of y'all are connecting with some of these basic habits here. This is, like I said, an oldie but goodie, an oldie but goodie. All right. So we're at 8:30 right now. We got about 15 minutes left of our chat. And we're going to jump to habit number 4. Think win-win. Gosh, this one probably is the one that I struggle with the most, right? Because I'm thinking about what I need to do, but how do I make my day so that it's a win for both? And I think Brock is a great example of this. And you've probably seen it show up in your life. So when you connect with Brock, what's one of the things that he normally asks? He'll say something like, "Hey, what can I do for you?" Right? You might be a realtor and you might be competing for the same listing, but Brock's putting out there, "What can I do for you?" Right? What can I do for you? So, how are you? Maybe let's just say in this example, if you're a realtor and you're competing with listings in the same community, it's a large neighborhood. Maybe we do open houses and we do a combined open house with 3 other realtors in the same community. Could that be a win-win where all of you share traffic with the same clients, stagger, collaborate, and get more people in your listing than if you were to do that open house on your own? Maybe it's a co-listing situation, right? Where you're working a deal that may be slightly out of your area of service. You don't want to lose the listing, so you collaborate with another agent in your market to do the listing together to better serve the client, to maybe make it less stretching on your time and your miles on your car, your gas tank, right? So thinking win-win is all about mutual success, right? So how can you leverage people in your community, in your market, in your industry to get more deals done and take advantage of partnerships with other people? So that's what win-win out. And like I said, I struggle with that. I think sometimes in my example, like y'all know, right? My number one source of business as a loan officer is what? To build partnerships with realtors. So I need to do a better job at saying, hey, let's grab lunch and can you bring a friend? Because wouldn't it be better if I met with 2 realtors than one? Right? Wouldn't that be smarter? Would it be collaboration? That's more of a win-win mindset. So, what relationships in your life could shift if you approached it with more of a win-win mindset? How can you help others and help yourself simultaneously? Maybe use your time more wisely, maybe stretch your reach a little further. I think Brock's doing a great job at doing a win-win mindset with this show, right? You've seen in recent weeks where he's traveling, he's got me and Chad and Christian and a bunch of other people, right, helping with his show. That is a win-win mindset in terms of habit number 4. Okay. Anyone have a win-win mindset that they're seeing in their life right now where they could share in the chat? Habit number 4 and habit 5 and 7 are my favorite, Brock says. Love this show so much. Thanks for sharing, he says. Anyone's got a win-win that they could share that they've just engaged in their business here in the recent weeks? Pop that in the chat and I'll read that through. Okay, so let's talk about, and this one I think is super powerful and may go unanswered a lot because we're busy. Habit number 5 says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So this could be stretching to your business world. And if you look at, right, all that we're seeing in our world, how often are we just shouting for people to say, this is what my beliefs are, and I don't have time to listen to what your beliefs are. We are so polarized as a nation, we're polarized as people, right? So maybe the mindset shift in terms of habit number 5, seek first to be understood, then seek first to understand, and then to be understood. Okay, so that's habit number 5. So listening is leadership. Listening is leadership. So there are times, it's not often, right, when I've taken a loan application for a client and the client says to me, how well do you know this realtor that we're working with? And I'll say, well, oh, I've worked with them a long time. We're great partners. And always trying to do the thumbs up and be positive. And the client will say to me, like, well, I'm having a problem because I've tried to tell the realtor that this is what's most important to me, and it doesn't seem to be getting through. And they're pushing me to buy this home price that's higher than I want. And I really want to keep my mortgage payment at $1,500. That's going to be over $2,000. And yes, it meets my needs and it's nice and it's in a great neighborhood, but I don't feel listened to. I don't feel listened to. Right? So I've had that happen to me before where they've asked me to recommend another agent. And I'm sure some of you have had that same thing happen on the mortgage side or in another, right? This home inspector's not connecting with me. This loan officer is not listening to me, right? So in most cases, people want to be heard before anything else. And oftentimes, just the fact of saying, you know what? Thank you for sharing that that that's got to be tough. I understand how you feel. I've felt that way before when I wasn't heard or understood. And let me see what I can do to try to fix it. Right. But let me first make sure you understand that I understand what you're going through, and people need to be heard. A lot of times, just the fact that you listen, right, help solve that problem. So everybody knows we have what, two ears and one mouth, right? Right. So we should be listening twice as hard as what we're responding to, right? So oftentimes that can take the tension away and turn it into trust. So here's a reflection question that I have for you all today. Who in your life needs to be heard today before being helped? Could we today, when we're having a conversation with a client, take a deep breath and just really listen before we respond, before we offer a solution, before we react, right? Listening is leadership. So a habit of a highly effective person is to seek first to understand, then to be understood, right? So, my challenge to you today in this category, habit 5, is let's try to really hear what the person we're speaking with or meeting with today, and then react with a listening set of skills, and then offer a solution after a long pause and make sure you're clarifying what that is they want to express to you. I think that's going to show you are going to build more trust with your client, and they're going to feel like you care about them. And that's effective. That's effective. Okay, habit number 6. Let's throw a 6 in the chat if you're still here listening. Habit number 6 is called Synergize. Okay, it's about creative collaboration. Okay, let's talk about what this looks like. Creative collaboration. And I'm going to use a client appreciation event. For those of you that were at our Success Summit down in Florida, I talked about a realtor appreciation event or a client appreciation event that realtors are putting on, right? Collaboration. You do not need to do a client appreciation event on your own. In fact, you could probably have a client appreciation event and not even come out of pocket a single penny. Why is that? Well, creative collaboration is, well, you're sending how many transactions to your home inspection person? How many transactions to a termite company? How many transactions to a mortgage broker? How many transactions to a homeowner's insurance company, to a financial planner, whoever your contractor, right? A power washer, a window cleaner. You can literally collaborate with all of your VIPs. I call them VIPs. I've been teaching y'all that have been at these summits. Those are your VIP partners. Anyone that you send business to is your VIP. Those are opportunities to collaborate, build out an event. Could you do a happy hour or even just an ice cream social for your clients and their families, and have 3 or 4 sponsors there? Everybody show up with their koozies and their magnets and their pens. You've all seen Preston Sandlin, right? With his crazy pants and his pens and gadgets. Have them all co-sponsor your client appreciation event and allow you to connect with your clients differently without it right? Without it costing you anything. That's called synergizing the people that you already are well connected with. Create a campaign that's memorable, connect with other people, and let the magic happen. That's called synergizing. Simple example of what a real estate agent can do to stay in front of their clients with a client appreciation event and collaborate with their VIPs. So, who do you need to invite in your life right now to collaborate with to get something done in your vision, to synergize with, to grow your business? So, that's habit 6 called Synergize. And we're going to wrap up with habit 7 because it's 7 habits of highly effective people. We got to get 7 in today. So, number 7 is sharpen the saw. One of my favorites. I think Brock said it was one of his favorites. Let's get a 7 in the chat for sharpening the saw. 7 in the chat for sharpening the saw. This one is about, right? It's about a success summit, right? It's about downtime, separating yourself from your family, your business, all the things that distract you, right? Filling your cup up and sharpening your saw can be part of your habit routine in the morning, but it can be going to a success summit, right? Getting down to the success summit in January is a great way to sharpen your saw, right? And filling your spirit, filling your professional self with new skills, new habits, new things that you can do to build out routines. So I'm going to plug for the Success Summit in Nashville. It's in January. And Brock's got all the registration details on his website. I know we've been hearing people, talk about it over the last several weeks. We want to have a ton of people that at that Success Summit. That's where you're going to sharpen the saw. I know for me, when I go to the Success Summit, I get something from it, right? Our successes are not measured by making huge leaps in our business. And I've shared this analogy a lot with you, right? We improve by making little small habit changes each and every day, each and every week, right? And I use this analogy and I will continue to use it, right? In the Kentucky Derby, the prize winning horse wins by a nose. What is that? An inch, an eighth of an inch, 2 inches, right? But the prize winnings are triple. So we are not about changing your entire business model. We're about changing your daily habits so that you get a little bit better each day, a little bit better each week, each month, each year. And then you will see your earnings double and triple over time because you only have to be a little bit better than your competition for you to have your prize winnings be 3 times greater. So, habit 7 is about sharpening the saw, making sure you're taking time in your daily rituals, taking time to go to events, making sure you're putting time into your spiritual self, right? Making sure you're taking your vacation time with your family, right? We have to balance work and family. That is not easy, right? It is not easy. Um, so, anyway, so somebody says they now want to go and bet on some ponies. Great. Go bet on some ponies. So, but the value of the 7 Habits, great book. There's a lot there for all of you to kind of get refreshed on. And like I said, it's an oldie but goodie. But my challenge on habit number 7 is get signed up for the Success Summit. Get involved with Coaching with Brock if you're not coaching. I'm going to tell you this. I don't normally tell this to a lot of people. I spend $3,000 a month to have a business coach in my industry. That's a lot of money, right? It's more than my mortgage payment. But that time for me is about separating myself from my day to day life and sharpening that saw, getting trained, getting pushed, trying to get a little bit better each day so that my prize winnings are a little bit bigger. So let's recap. We talked about be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, synergize, and sharpen the saw. So choose a habit you want to focus on today, practice it for the next 7 days, right? Journal what shifts, even if it's big or small, right? Put it in your journal, reflect on it, share it on social media, whatever you want to do. But I'm challenging you today to be more effective as we've learned from Stephen Covey, from our amazing friend Brock, and a little bit of help from Chris Reshetar, who was trying to put a show together that you're happy with. So anyway, hope this show was valuable. Get signed up for that summit. Thank you again for this opportunity to visit with you all. If there's anything that I can do in the mortgage world, let me know. You know where to find me. I am the Mortgage Genius with CTR Mortgage Brokers. Thank you. Have a great day, and we will see you next week. Or tomorrow, I should say. Sorry about that. Tomorrow. All good. You're welcome, y'all. Thank you.